Charlie Podcast. A weekly show person make you say, "Really, Charlie?" on the Really Charlie Podcast. Tune in. It's the Really Charlie Podcast. A weekly show with the one person to make you say, "Really, Charlie?" on the Really Charlie Podcast. Tune in.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie Podcast here on Fireside. I am happy to be here to share some facts with you and also maybe get some guests up here on the Really Charlie Podcast here on Fireside. Welcome to everyone that is here on from YouTube to the replay that we will you have an opportunity to see these shows after it's live, and go on and check out the replay and and join in, still comment, and we can get to see your comments and everything. So, but Fireside is something that I'm trying to get on more frequently, and this is actually going to be coming on every week. Sundays, I will definitely bring fentanyl facts to you, and also want people to come on and share their story, because there are people out there that have been affected by it, and their stories are usually the best teachers in my eyes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually do a few things. I have my friend Paula that's in the audience. I have Marla here. I'm going to invite, Paula to the stage real quick, and we'll go from there. But, Paula's definitely the inspiration in this, for me to do something, only because I wanted to do something on a weekly basis, you know, just to get the facts out there, and just share our story. So let's see. Let me see. I see Paula. How you doing?
I am good. How are you? I can't see you, but I know you can see me, apparently.
All right. Let me see. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
And to see if you, if everyone, if the screen looks a little bit big, what you can do is pinch it down. Pinch it down with your fingers, and you'll get to see, Paula and I. Um, Now, feel free if anyone wants to come to the stage. Just you know, there's three buttons over there on the right hand side above the emojis. click on that, and you can get invited to the stage and tell your story. Um, but
So
so
thank you for
Paul,
having me, Charlie. Again, I appreciate it. And thank you
yeah,
for doing this because I know it's extremely important. And for those who don't know, Charlie is a family friend. Um, we've known each other for quite some time. I think probably over 10 years now, right? Charlie, maybe 10, almost 15 years because Frankie, my youngest, he was in school and he was doing something with the police department, and he was kind of partnered with you, if I recall, with you and,
yeah,
and Sergeant Ortega. Or not
yep.
Ortega, I'm sorry, Fonseca.
That would be Alan. So he
Yes,
was school resource officer. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Alan's a
yes.
great dude, and Frankie's he's a great man now. And
Yeah.
he was easy. He made it easy for us. His personality kind of blended in, and he was just in the mix with us, and I just appreciate good kids, and now he's a great man. Doing good things for. I
Well,
just
thank you for that.
a great experience. I wish I would get ready and hunker down and end up doing my book on the school resource experience. But Paula, I got a question. You said
Oh,
that
I'm sure that when you do a bestseller. Yes,
um, someone we wanted to invite someone up to tell their story. Who was that again?
yes. So it's Marla Ayers. Marla is already on. I can see that she has joined. So Marla is a angel mom.
Okay.
So one of the things that what happens when you lose a child and you become part of this big army, as I've spoken about before, of grieving parents, you then start to get connected to many other parents, as I have through this unfortunate and tragic circumstances. You and then we call each other angel moms, angel
Okay.
parents. So Marla is someone who I have connected with. She's amazing, and I've asked her to be on today because I know you've allowed me to have people on. Marla is a retired firefighter and paramedic from Ohio.
All right.
She is amazing. Was on the front lines of this, so I thought she would be a wonderful person to have on today because of her experience, because of who she is and what she did, and not only experiencing fentanyl on the front lines, but then unfortunately losing her own daughter, Angie, to fentanyl
Sorry
poisoning
to hear that.
with a pill. So she has a definitely story that is going to, I believe, capture the audience here today.
Hmm.
And she's just an amazing person. And again, in my journey, as you know, after losing my oldest, Andrew, last March to this, you start to connect with parents who a lot of them will not be doing advocacy because it's just too hard for them. And that's okay. But some of them, like Marla, she is literally, kicking A and taking names in Ohio. She's just doing so many wonderful things. But I'd love to have her come on. Again, a lot of amazing, amazing stories. She can tell her story as only she can. And Charlie, and you and I have spoken. I call it the lived experience because that's exactly what it
Wow.
is.
Okay. Um, that's a sad story. Um, because pretty sure Mala saved hundreds of lives, and
Oh
to
yeah.
lose a child is. I'm gonna invite her to the stage too. So let's see. The Yeah, the life experiences that we go through. We're always trying to do things like what Mala did. Is every day she's going in and she's trying to do the best she can for the community. And that was pretty much me. I was always trying to help someone and do what I could as at every experience, every conversation. And
Right.
so when you go through something personally, I mean, everything on the job is personal because you're involved. So, but when it gets to another level, when it's a family member, friend, that really hits you in the heart and probably in the heart and breaks your heart, really, So I um I just want to really, first of all, just want to thank you, Paula, for being here. Mala, thank you for being here. And I'm gonna really I'm gonna keep my mouth shut right now and just listen and learn. And we're gonna let Paula tell her story.
Well, Marla.
Marla, I'm sorry, I'm saying Paula. You know what? That's what Paula does. She just, in my bloodstream. I just want to say
I love Paula.
Paula, Paula, Paula.
I
You
love
know?
Paula.
Oh well, that
Yes.
Marla's my love. Marla is my one of the things you realize, and you'll realize, Charlie, with doing this weekly and having different guests as I bring them on, Marla being our first, and I thank her, is you will see that there's a family that has been established with this tragedy, but it's unconditional love. Like I can't explain it. And when people say, well, how come, where's your family? Unfortunately, your own blood walks away
Hmm.
because they're not able to handle what we have now experienced. And then you have your angel moms, as Marla is, come to kind of the rescue and be like, okay, I'm here. And many times we don't even have to speak a word because they know what you are feeling. They know what you are going through. They know everything without us having to say it. But I'd like everyone to please meet Marla. She's my love. She's my soul sister. She's my angel sister. And I'm going to give the platform to her for her to tell her story.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Charlie, for the platform.
Thank you for joining me, and feel free. You and everyone else are welcome here every single week, and I would love to see your beautiful face every day, every week. And coming on the podcast, telling your story, because it's real important. So today it's just us three and everyone in the audience or that's listening to us on YouTube and later on the replay. What it does is just invites people here to tell their story. So, Mala, without further ado, let's talk.
In my career in fire and EMS, I didn't feel that my kids were ever exempt from the bad things that happen, but I think they were better prepared
Mm,
than most
mm,
teenagers are because they heard the horror stories. They knew the drinking and driving, they knew the texting. I taught it to high schools for years. So they knew the consequences of XYZ.
mm-hmm.
I never thought that they would be totally exempt. I always knew there was a risk, so I made sure they knew how to better protect themselves.
Yes.
And the one thing I think most first responders, whether it be fire, police, EMS, you know when you walk out that door every day that there's a chance that you might not come home.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how you're arguing, no matter how you're fighting, no matter what disagreements, your last words are always, I love you.
Yes.
On the night of September 10th, I picked my daughter up with my mom. We took her to dinner. Had a great night, spent a couple hours just having fun, joking and talking. Dropped her back off at her house. She said, "Why don't you meet me tomorrow at Denny's for breakfast?" I said, "Absolutely, can do that." Didn't I text her about 9:30, and she texts back. The next morning I was sitting in Denny's parking lot when her roommate sent me a message that she was dead.
Wow.
I immediately called her roommate. The police were there. I went over. The EMS side of me knew when I pulled up because there was only two police cars, no squad.
Mm-hmm.
I knew.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to my mom. She didn't understand. We went in the house. I talked to the officer and I told him I wanted to see her because the EMS side of me needed to know.
Mm-hmm.
The mom side of me should have never walked in that room.
Yeah.
So I knew. And at that point, I don't know if I was in shock, but my first thought was, let's find who gave it to her.
Mm.
Because of the condition she was in, I knew what had happened. They found 2 pills on the nightstand. Angie had severe anxiety. She had a brain tumor removed at 25.
Wow.
And whenever they go in the brain, you never know what's going to happen.
True.
She was an athlete. She went to Toledo University, majored in psychology. She was certified as a lifeguard. She helped Habitat for Humanity. So, okay, she has anxiety. It's better than a brain tumor. We got this. They put her on Xanax. She took a few too many,
Mm.
and she couldn't get it refilled for 30 till the 30-day mark because the pharmacies are now very, very, very strict and cracked down on when you can refill.
Yes.
She had 3 pills. 2 were left on the nightstand. The 1 pill that she did take had enough fentanyl to kill over 10 people.
Wow.
She didn't know what happened.
Mm-mm-mm. You and as you were trying to find out who had gave it to her,
Well,
how did that work out?
it didn't work.
Okay.
I told the officers there, I said, take her tablet, take her laptop, take her phone. I said, she's journaled in journals, notebook journals, since she
Yeah.
was in 4th grade. I said, look around in her room. I said, I can't do it with her in there. I just can't. Look around for her journals, find them. And they said, well, we have her phone. I'm like, okay, what about the rest of it? Well, at that time, the coroner came, so of course we had to leave the house. They had to take her. And everything up in that area goes up to LCCO in Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do autopsies locally. Everything goes north.
Yeah.
So after she was out of the house, I asked the officers again to please make sure they got her laptop, her tablet, etc. They said, okay. So I went ahead and left. And I called the police department the next day. And I asked them, and I should have known it was the mom in me, not the professional in me. I knew after a day they wouldn't have had time to look. And they said, well, we didn't take them.
Mm. Oh.
Okay. Progress forward a year. Well, actually, progress forward 3.5 months, 4 months when we got our toxicology back. Now, mind you, the county where she died in is where the coroner actually is. So Toledo sends it back to that county for that coroner to sign off on it.
Mm.
I called the coroner's office once a month just to see, the actual county coroner. And they would say, no, we haven't gotten it back yet. But then the way the lady told me that they had 4 people coming in trying to get her death certificate.
Wow.
And they have to give it because it's public record.
Yeah.
And she found it a little odd that 4 people kept coming in every single week to get her death certificate. Finally, they mailed it to me, said fentanyl poisoning, accidental overdose. So I called back up to the coroner's office and I said, okay, where's the toxicology? They said it's not back yet, but we haven't gotten the copy yet, but this is the preliminary of what they sent. When everything finally came through, the only thing she had in her, she had her regular prescriptions. The only thing she had in her that she didn't have a prescription for was fentanyl.
Wow.
And the toxicology came back. I called the police department and they said the case is closed. The police chief used to be the city's old fire chief.
Yeah.
And I had mutual aided with that city on major downtown structure fires. So I thought, no, I'll talk to the chief. He knows me. No, He said, "You know how it is.
Hmm.
No one wants to prosecute. We don't have the money, the time, or the jail space." I
It
said, "Okay, then take a white collar crime guy out of prison who maybe embezzled, throw him back out on the street where he can survive, and
yeah,
take the killers and put them behind bars."
so true.
He didn't like that.
The thing is to prosecute. It's. I don't know why they always kind of reflect that it's a money issue. You know what? It really isn't a money issue. It's time issue. And why can't you just put your time into something?
Because it's easier to offer somebody a plea, which up in that area, 80% are plea deals.
Yeah.
The prosecutor gets what they want, they're happy, their record looks good because it shows as a conviction.
Yes.
And they can't say it's money because after the Sacklers, that whole with the lawsuits, there's millions, and the DEA has gotten money from the federal government. There's millions of dollars out there. So
Yeah.
it's not a money issue.
No.
It's a I don't want to issue
I agree. I agree.
because it makes it harder. And when you have over 300 people a day dying, I'm 9/11 is absolutely sacred to me because of me being a firefighter.
Agree.
But 2,997 people died that day. And this country demanded retribution.
Hmm.
Within hours, the airspace was shut down. This entire country locked down.
Yes.
Nobody got in, nobody got out for 2,997 people.
Hmm.
That's how many die in 2 weeks from fentanyl.
Exactly.
And nobody blinks an eye.
I We're on the same page, Marla.
Officers are being killed. My poor school resource officer,
Hmm.
I scared that guy so bad that the next day when I went back, he's showing me I got gloves now,
Hmm.
and I provided the Narcan kits
Yeah.
so that they were evenly distributed through the school. He personally put one in his trunk because he didn't have one in his car,
Hmm.
and he had two in his office, plus the nurse had some.
Yeah. Should
He
keep
had
one.
no idea. When I came to do my presentation at the school to the kids, he had no idea. He was curious, so he came in and sat down on it.
Yeah. Should try to keep one in your pocket, or somewhere in your belt. You know, there's more than enough equipment, accessories that can keep that thing available because as a police officer, you're going to be the first one called. And You got to be prepared. You can't run to your office and then run to the location. 4 minutes happens real quick. And if you don't react within 4 minutes, um, the
Three
things,
minutes, you start losing brain cells when the
yeah,
oxygen's down. At
hmm,
10 minutes, you've now become a donor.
yes, yep, it's very, very important. And that's why when you hear the ambulances or anything, emergency responders from fire, on the road and they're trying to get somewhere, pull over to the right. Don't obstruct their path. Don't let them slow down. Just let them go. And so many people take it for granted, where they're going and who they're going to respond to. So, um,
Oh yes, that's a problem. I always tell people if that was your loved one that we were coming to,
mhm.
you wouldn't be so fast to pull out in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Mala, before you continue, I just want to tell everyone in the audience, Vicky, Kara, Jerry, um, LMJ, looks like it's Eva, Amy, Mala, Paula, myself, and the Waitbot. thank you for joining us on the Really Charlie podcast. We're talking about fentanyl, and it's real important that we have these conversations because as Mala talks to me, as Paula talks to me, I'm learning, and you are learning. So, YouTube, you're also learning too. So I just want to let everybody know that you're welcome. You're welcome to speak. You're welcome to come on board. Invite yourself to the stage. Look on to the right. There's emojis. When you hear a story, that you know Marla and Paula are talking about, and it hits a point, you can press the applaud button, and you can clap for them so they can hear it, so we can show them that they're encouraging us. They're saying things that are on point. There's emojis with hearts and everything that are on the right. Please, touch those. When Marla's giving you a good point, Paula, just go ahead and press it. But also, if you have a story out there, you want to tell it, just come on to the stage, and we'll gladly let you talk. You don't have to come on camera. Some people, may have a bad hair day like me and don't want to come to video. So, audio is definitely something we can do. So the talk about, either one of you can talk about the work that you're doing, or just the advocacy and how and why that's important.
Well, Marla can speak because I think Marla's been doing this a bit longer than I have. But as I mentioned earlier, she's literally she's kicking ass and taking names in Ohio, and
Nice.
she's a force to be reckoned with, and actually, Achieve Greatness has just partnered with Marla and her non advocacy is to partner with people who have the same philosophy and the same mission as you. And, Marla is someone kind of like myself where we don't need 5 billion people to be part of our group. We're not looking for that quantity. We're looking for the quality. And that's one of the things that, and of course, and I hope it's okay, but just for everyone in the audience to also know, and Marla, Charlie is also joining Achieve Greatness as the New Bedford outreach director. So, well, oh no, well, thank you, because this is one of the things that you learn in your platform is we're not going to be able to grow and do what we're doing unless we have the right people with us.
Exactly.
But I'll let Marla talk about what she's doing in Ohio because, as I said, we're not looking for that quantity.
I'm sorry.
We're looking for the quality, and that's one of the things that
this.
And
I'm trying to share our YouTube video so we get access to everyone else, but I didn't turn the volume down. I'm sorry, Marla and Paula.
No, that's okay. Marla, go. Why don't you talk about what you're doing in Ohio with your advocacy?
Okay. About a year and a half after her death, I took my time, licked my wounds, tried to wrap my head around why it happened, how it happened. And I realized nobody's talking about this. There's people talking about this, but there's a lot of people talking everywhere. And it seemed like everybody was going in a different direction. And I knew with my previous history and work, I can educate people. Okay, we can't stop the cartels. It's too late for that. Even the DEA says we can't arrest our way out of this one. They say that, they've said it time and time again. So if we can't stop the cartels, maybe we can educate the kids enough that we can save more than what's dying.
And that works. Yes, I agree.
So I sat down, put my EMS hat on, said, okay, let's come up with a plan. So that is when, and Paula, I have applied for the 501c3, haven't gotten confirmation yet. Fingers crossed.
Good.
Light into Darkness, Angie's Wish. And I called the schools, called the local school, and they were saying, absolutely, come up. And I guess I'm lucky because so many other parents that are trying to get into the schools cannot get in. They will not let them near that door. I have been so blessed that every school that I've contacted has been absolutely come in. It went so far as my local school district. I got a phone call from the elementary school, and I only do grades. I go in and do 7 through 12.
Yeah.
I was working on a K, because I taught fire prevention in schools too, K through 6. So I thought, okay, this can't be much different. I just have to take my 7 through 12 program, water it down, pull it back a little bit to the little ones. Got a school call from the elementary school. They said, we're having a student parent night. Can you please come set up?
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded. Because usually when you get kids 6th grade and under down to kindergarten, they don't want them to be exposed, I guess, to these things. But one of the things I emphasize to the adults, and I don't show the teenagers, I have so many pictures of kids, newborns through 5 and 6. A lot of them are 18 months, 20 months, where they start pulling themselves up to the table, the coffee table in the living room, and do the little walk around. They're getting their parents drugs and they're putting them in their mouth and they're dying.
Yeah. Yep.
So I now have an elementary school program. It was an overall success. I believe we handed out over 77 Narcan kits that night. So I then went to the court, the local common pleas court in the county, and I asked to get a meeting with the judge just to get his support to go to the schools. They gave me an hour time block to sit with him. I made it 15 minutes into my presentation to him. He told me to hold on, went and brought another woman in to listen to it. She said, hold on, went and got another woman and brought her into it. What I did not know at the time is that this county was working with the Supreme Court in Ohio to basically, they won't call it drug court, it's called Family Treatment Dependency Court. And I did not know this. He told me, he said, come back. And they gave me another date where he had another hour block. He said, put it to paper, bring it back with you, we'll review it. I took it back in, they reviewed it. They asked me how much I would charge. I said, absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And they were ecstatic.
Wow.
They submitted my program and it was accepted. So the Supreme Court gave them the go-ahead to do this court. And in this court is Ohio Means Jobs, Ohio Department of Human Services, me and my husband who do Light into Darkness. There's CASA, Children's Services, because most of these have had their kids taken away and are in foster care. There's 4 or 5 different treatment facilities that send representatives. It is a collective group of people that help these folks, that a lot of them are mothers who have tested dirty when they haven't given birth from them because they've tested dirty for some drug. And the thought process is with fentanyl being in meth, coke, every pill, 6 out of 10 pills have fentanyl. Street pills have fentanyl in them now.
Wow.
So if we can get them at the front, we might not be burying them at the back.
Yeah.
They helped them get a driver's license. They took one girl out. She couldn't pass because she couldn't parallel park. One of the caseworkers took her out with cones and practiced for 2 weeks so she could pass. They're doing everything possible to make sure these people succeed.
Yeah.
And it's the only one in the state so far. So we are the guinea pig test spot. I never thought I'd ever see a day I would be a part of something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm happy to do it. It's
Yeah.
once a week.
You know, you're establishing a blueprint for
Mhm.
others to follow. And I hope that you're writing down these things, and doing that. Maybe add it to your LLC. Um, so when they go into your website, they would have a blueprint so they can introduce this to school departments, agencies, you know, and make it easier for them, because the frustrating thing is that when you want to put things in writing, or you can explain stuff verbally, but you need to put it in writing so
Yeah,
a collective group can see it and examine it, and then say, hey, all right, I'm all for this, I got to vote for it. So, Marla, when you have a chance, just blueprint this whole thing if you haven't already, and it will be an easy, handoff to other agencies or other people that are trying to do things. I'm pretty sure that you would say, if Charlie Perry came to you and say, look, I'm trying to get this into my school department, and I need some help. And then the first thing you're probably going to say is yes. But all in
absolutely.
all, there's going to be hundreds of Charlie Perrys doing this, and you can't sell yourself thin. So you got to pass something on to them. And that blueprint that you do type up and would be so useful, so useful. And I just wanted to add that.
I've been I hear horror stories from other parents who are trying to get out. The DEA watched a 3-minute video that I did on the fly. I had never done one for TikTok. I
Hmm.
had always put information up on TikTok and set it to music, but I had never personally, did a video.
Hmm.
And I created Ohio's first lock memorial that's down on our overlooks our river.
Hmm.
And the Lions Club has actually owned the fence. And the
Okay.
Lions Club are technically, more conservative.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure how this was going to go. And I needed to ask them to use the fence for the locks. That night when I come home, and they did grant it, by the way,
Hmm.
I came home, I sat in my dining room, and I did a 3-minute video telling my daughter's story. Hit upload or whatever you have to do with it. And I told my husband at night, I said, I made a video, but I probably look pretty stupid, so I'm probably going to take it down.
Hmm.
I fell asleep. He woke up the next morning poking me. He said, you might not want to take that down. And I said, why? He said, because it's up to over 700,000 views.
Yeah. Wow.
And I tried as hard. It ended up at like 1.1 million before it stopped. It's
Mm.
still out there, but it's slowed down.
Yeah.
Tried to answer as many people as I could possibly. The number of people who had no idea whatsoever that this was even a thing
Hmm.
is scary.
It sure is.
And then the other 20% was, yeah, it happened to us too. There
Hmm.
was no middle ground. It was either they had no idea or their child or somebody in their family died. So what Paul and I have decided is we need to get that 80% before they become the 20%.
Yeah. Hmm.
We're losing an entire generation,
Yeah.
literally.
It's getting to the point where I'm at the funeral home. I mean, I work for a funeral home, but I'm at other funeral homes, once a week, and it's sometimes it's related and sometimes it's not. But the thing is the generation is getting wiped out, which reminds me similar to the '80s. With the crack epidemic and all that. And what
Hmm.
that was doing, and so we definitely don't want to revisit that. We really don't.
I don't even think crack is even an issue anymore.
No, it
I
isn't.
really don't.
It isn't. You know.
No. And I think
Um.
that one of the biggest things, Charlie, is with Marla and I, as we explained to you, is in teaming together. Everything we do, we share with each other. So it's going to be, it's kind of like where Achieve Greatness now is going to have a chapter in Ohio, and, Light into the Darkness is going to have a chapter in Massachusetts. And this is why when Marla and I talked about partnering up, and we've already spoken about this, Marla will fly out and do a presentation, at anywhere, with me, and I'll do the same with her.
Hmm.
Because one of the things that we've realized, and Marla's on the call and she can tell you, is that in doing this, you're stronger with numbers.
Yeah.
And because Marla is already, her platform is a little bit different than mine, obviously, because she can get on TikTok and do videos. I unfortunately cannot, because I only have 200 friends. So,
Yeah.
so but that's okay, because my platform is a little bit, I'm on the news, as you know, Charlie. I'm doing
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
things, and on your podcast and other podcasts. And Marla invites me when she can. So together, what her and I have established is, it's like Marla said, there's so many people out there that, and I'm finding this out, and I know Marla is too, because we've talked personally about this. People know about it, but they don't want to speak about it.
Yeah. And you and you're mentioning that, and I just want to respond with this comment by Vicky Lee in the audience. She says, "I would be more than happy to present your program to the South Carolina school system. I'm being a registered nurse, fully understand the problems that a fentanyl has created. Having a fentanyl death in the distant family was horrible. She was 16. I agree the information needs to be put out there. The real truth." Thank you, Vicky Lee.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It's let me see.
And see, my daughter was 27.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that my daughter's death wasn't as important as a teenager, but
Mm.
I cannot fathom these parents that are losing their 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year olds before they even had a chance to shine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm just
I,
thinking of my kids when they were 15 and
yeah,
16, and what they were going through and what they didn't know. Life was just at its beginning at that age.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, um, Vicky Lee says, having lost my son at the age of 13. Whoa. You know, my grandson's 13 right now. And, wow, it's, these stories, tear jerking, um, yeah, it's just nonstop. And, we got to do what we can. I, um, I just want everybody to encourage their friends. Um, and Vicky Lee said she lost her son from cystic fibrosis. Was devastating, and it is. It is. As a parent, we do not want to pay visit to a funeral home to lay your child to rest.
I've done a lot of hard things. The hardest thing I had to do was watch that casket close.
Man, yeah, and working at the funeral home, we really, really try not to have you do that, because of the
That was my choice.
yeah, yeah, and the visceral. It. I ask you this, Marla: was the visual beneficial to you or hurt you? Does it add to your trauma?
I think I probably should have let it go at the
Yeah.
last few minutes I had with her.
Hmm.
But I know, just me personally, everybody has a different opinion on this.
Exactly.
I chose to have her cremated.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked the most amazing, and I didn't buy it through the funeral home. I got it online. A beautiful, gorgeous weeping angel with her wings that wrap down around the box. And it's on my nightstand
Mm.
because it was I could not leave her.
Yeah.
And like my dad's buried, and my
Mm-hmm.
mom will be.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe because of age, I
Yeah.
was okay with that because I go to the cemetery, see my dad, take flowers, and that's okay. I couldn't do that with her.
No.
I just couldn't. And I don't know why, but I couldn't.
Just think of the constant conversations you have
Mhm.
where you're speaking out loud to her. You know what? Speaking out loud to her at the cemetery um, doesn't help you at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Nope.
So, with that, with her close by, and you're able to speak to her, is something that should help you out at that stage at 1 or 2 in the morning, or even throughout the day. I So in this case, I want to say that you made a great decision on your part. To
Oh,
do
I
that.
can hear her now.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a jock. She was a catcher to the point when she come up to bat, they'd always coach would tell them go back,
Hmm.
go further out, and nobody ever tried to steal home because she was brutal. I mean, she was vicious. And
uh,
I can hear her up there now going, you go kick A, come on. I can hear it, but I think she's up there with Paula's son, and they're
yeah.
pointing us out just like we point our kids out.
Hmm.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're up there talking about us just as much,
True. True. Yep.
but
And
other
we
parents need to know.
yeah, and we believe that because Marla and I say it all the time, and Marla knows with Andrew, he is at a cemetery.
Mm.
And but one of the things that Marla and I talk about all the time, and Vicky, I'm sending you love and big hugs from two grieving moms to another. Please reach out to us if you ever need to. Charlie can give you my information because one of the things that Marla and I also do is we talk to other parents
Yeah.
Yep.
who are us because you are us and we are you.
Yeah. Vicky says
So,
thank you.
oh,
So you lose a
absolutely.
child, you lose a child.
Yeah.
And that Vicky makes mention that her son died in her arms. Um, I brought her into the. It says, "My son died in my arms. I brought her in the world and held him at his exit." She says she's on the stands, which what Mala was talking about. She said I understand, and also that she had nightmares that her son was cold, and I wish I had him cremated. Vicky mentions that she is always with you, Mala, and
Thank
um,
you, and I'm
and
with
then she
you.
and then she said that she responded, "Thank you," which was when Paula was talking about reaching out to her, or her reaching out to we got to do this together, So, but I want to make mention that also achievement greatness 88.org,
Achieve
achieve
greatness.
sorry achieve greatness 88.org, and please reach out and see that, examine it, because it may lead to organizations within your own communities. And these are things, what Mala has, Paula has, that, be examples, or as Mala said, guinea pigs for everyone else to follow, or see what they're going through, so you don't make mistakes, or just make it slightly easier for you. Joining us is sorry, I just want to make Big
Oh,
Philly. I appreciate.
you can invite him on the show.
Yeah, Big Philly. Should I invite him to speak?
See if he wants to. He's a dad. This is
Yeah.
one of the things. This is one of the things that I think really needs to, and Marla, you and I have spoken about this.
Dads are left out.
Yeah, the dad's voice, really having a platform also because they suffer too.
Yeah.
But they're not heard.
Yeah. So we're gonna, let's see. Big Philly, are you there? I guess he is. What's going on? What's happening, man? I hope I can. No, I can't hear him.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Marla, that's Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hey, Marlo, how are you?
Doing okay. How are you?
All right,
Yeah.
I've been struggling to try to get into the show for the last like 15 minutes.
After the first time, it usually gets easier
Don't
after
So,
that.
don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's fireside
yeah, this
can
is
be
my first time,
difficult.
so I had to.
But let me tell you something, right? We're talking about difficulties in getting on the fireside, but I want to tell you that it's over 19,000 people we had shared this with. So, and it just gets bigger and bigger. The last show we had last week, I had 70 new followers. So we're continually capturing the audience, and we're trying to get the word out. Right, every day you're doing something. Every day you're trying to reach out to someone. Well, today you reached out to 19,000 people. So if we can keep doing that every single week, you may not want to speak one week, but listening, should be good, for all of us. And I'm just definitely, like I said, I'm gonna do this. This is my weekly thing. So feel free if you just want to listen or come on board. I don't care if I see your lovely faces every week. Come on board. This is your open invitation to be here every week. And if we have to change the time later on, as things go on, we can do that. But right now, I'll stick with Sunday at noontime and try to give you guys an hour show. All right,
Phil,
Big.
did you want to say anything in reference to the dad part of this?
I'm kind of becoming a Budinsky here, but I did actually. And Charlie, we appreciate you providing the platform for us.
Thank you.
That's Jax,
And
You're
Marla.
welcome.
I have Jack wanting my attention in the background.
Mine's mad because I locked him out of the room.
But
Yeah,
we when all of this occurred, Paul and I, we weren't prepared for anything like this. And honestly, I probably would have never even known truly as much as I do now about fentanyl
mm,
because it wasn't something that had impacted us. So after Andrew's passing, unfortunately, Paula and I became subject matter experts in something that we never wanted to be experts in.
yeah,
And the real behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't understand, they look at us and they see how we interact with people now and what we've started with Achieve Greatness. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of anguish, there's a lot of pain,
hmm,
and from my perspective, I'm dealing with it from a multitude of areas, right? So I have my own personal uh, challenges, things that I'm dealing with Andrew's passing, but I'm also dealing with picking up the pieces of my wife. And
yeah, yeah,
so, from an emotional standpoint and from a psychological standpoint, I see what she goes through on a daily basis. It's not something that ever subsides. It's not something that goes away. And so I have to maintain as best as I can a certain level of strength to make sure I'm there to comfort her.
hmm,
But I picture it as I'm walking behind her and just pieces of her are falling apart and I'm picking them back up, trying to put everything back together.
Exactly.
As a old school man, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's always been the way I was taught was you were a protector, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my job first and foremost is to forsake myself, which sometimes I know that's not a good thing,
Hmm.
and then to really focus my energies on Paula.
That's what my
And
husband says too.
yeah, and I tell you, it's we suffer silently. I don't really have too many people to talk to about this because no one will truly understand, and the only people who can possibly understand are the people who've experienced this. You know,
Hmm.
the death of a child, and it is the most gut wrenching thing I've ever experienced, and there's no book on it. You can read all the grief books. You can talk about all. It's all in your own psychological realm and how you deal with things. And me, I have a tendency. I compartmentalize things because if I don't do it, then I can't function.
Mm.
And so to go to work, I just focus on work that day. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I don't carry Andrew with me, but he and I have had conversations, and I know people can say it sounds crazy. I don't really care,
Yeah.
but he's okay with that because he knows I have to survive and I have to take care of mom too. So
Hmm.
it's just layers upon layers upon layers. I can't even begin. I could probably take 10 episodes to talk about this, probably even more.
Yeah.
Um, but I suffer, man. I suffer in silence. And Paula knows I'm really just starting to talk to her about some things. And this has been over a year, but
Mm.
it feels like yesterday. So there's just a lot from my perspective, from a male's point of view. I can't relate to Paula giving childbirth, right? Because I'm a man. I can't have a baby.
Yeah.
So my compassion for her is the fact that I know, and I've told her this before, my mom and I were very close before my mother passed.
Mm.
And so we had that mother son connection. Paula had that. But from a mom's side, I had my connection with my mom from a son's side. So
Hmm.
those are the type of things that I had to go backwards to figure out how to better understand what Paula is truly going through. Because you carry a life and you nurture that life, that child inside of you, and then everything comes to fruition when they're born and actually here. And then all of a sudden, we all have trials and tribulations, man. And people that know me and know my relationship with Andrew, at times it was tumultuous. We had a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
and so we argued a lot.
Hmm.
And but at the end of the day, we did a lot of healing with each other, which a lot of people aren't aware of either. And so I was hoping that we were on a road where we would have time to spend together and talk. And this fentanyl, this crap just it ended everything. It
Yeah.
stopped everything in its tracks on that day. And we have four other children, and I'm sure that psychologically, we are probably triggers for them, right?
Hmm.
Especially Paula. So at times they will back away or they won't talk at all because each one of us had our own special type of relationship with Drew. And some people might feel guilty. I know at times I felt guilty, right? So,
So.
and like I said, there's just a lot of layers with this. And I'm always here too. If there's anybody on this podcast, anybody that people know, and they just want to get together and they're a dad, because we don't have enough dads talking about this.
Hmm.
We try to, push everything in the compactor. And I'm truly willing to talk to other people, and I don't have any answers. All I can do is give you from my perspective, but let you know that there's an ear here for you to listen
Exactly.
to whatever you might be going through.
And that's good. That's very good. Vicky says that, can work through this. I'm going to get the exact quote right now. I don't want to. It's in the comment section and it says, "You have to live one day at a time. I never believed that a day would come that I would smile before I cried when I think of him." And it's so true. crying becomes the normal.
And
And
people
after,
don't like that either. That's one
yeah,
thing. Sorry, as I'm trying to fix this awful hair. And I think Marla can speak on that, and even Phil, but more so Marla and even Vicky can probably chime in. People do not want to hang out with us because when you talk about our children, we do start to cry.
yeah,
And we cry because there's a lot of things. They're not here. We cry because of what could have been. We cry because you're remembering them and we appreciate you.
yeah,
Um, but they don't like that because to them, oh my gosh, I don't want to be with them because I'm going to make them cry.
mm,
So they pull away. And that's okay because in many instances, I've learned, and Charlie, you know this because we've had many conversations. Phil obviously knows as being my husband. Vicky, I'm sure you know, and Marla knows, and Ronnie, people pull away from you because they cannot handle your grief.
yeah, yeah. We talked about that, you know,
Just
and
get over it doesn't cut it.
no, no, and usually when someone says get over it, is a very selfish person, has no empathy of or even shared or experienced something like you all have, you know. And it's no, it's not get over it. It's look, if you can't say anything uh, worthwhile or with some kind of substance, well, just listen. And if you can't listen to loved ones, then no one should listen to you, period, until you kind of grasp and get a hold of yourself where you can start listening to loved ones, because you have to have some empathy for people when they're going through things. And there's a lot of people out there that just don't have it. And so to get over it is a very selfish thing, in my opinion. And, you know, that's the type of person you just, that says that to you. You need to, as someone that's grieving, you need to step away and stay away until they ring your doorbell and are willing to talk to you and listen to you, because that's the type of person that's going to really bring you down every time and make you cry even more. Because so enough of that soapbox here. The I really want to encourage you all to come back and definitely share your stories. Vicky, I appreciate your comments. Everyone else on the board, on the screen, and in the audience, from YouTube to people that are listening to us on the replay. And also, I like to bring this and on the Really Charlie podcast here on Fireside and every other platform that I'm involved in. So whether I'm sharing it or doing my thing, but please, everyone, if you know anyone that wants to talk and share a conversation with us on Sundays, please get in touch with me through an email, reallycharliepodcast@gmail.com, and they can send me a message, and I definitely will send them the link. But joining Fireside is important too. So there's a whole lot of other subject matter here on Fireside that can help all of us. Whether it's just grieving, whether it's listening to a soul reader. It's all here. It's here, all here on Fireside. So, but I just I want to go in this order. Mala, do you have anything that you want to say before we end? Phil, you also, and we'll end with Paula's last statements.
I just want other parents to know you don't have to be afraid to talk to us because of the stigma. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed. Don't be. Until we collectively we can win the war. Individually, we're going to lose every single time. So you can sign on. I have a Facebook group. It's Light into Darkness,
Mm.
Fentanyl Poisoning and Overdose Awareness. Just feel free to join. Jump in if you have any comments. Just post and we'll get back to you.
All right. Phil?
Excellent. I just want to let people know that we started a nonprofit called Achieve Greatness, and if you want more information on fentanyl and more information on Andrew's story, please check out our website, achievegreatness88.org, and you'll see a lot of good information in there. That we are also creating a Google Classroom that we'll have on there at some point where people can go in and get some more educational materials and information on fentanyl and share it with your children. And I don't care how old your children are, or your grandchildren. Paul and I speak to our grandchildren about this ad nauseum, and we don't do it so we're trying to petrify them, but there is a shock factor because they need to understand that it's real, it's out there, and it's available. And so our jobs is really to make sure that we educate them and create an awareness so that you're just not taking anything from anybody. So that's our purpose ultimately, is so that no other parent would have to pick out an outfit or a casket to lay their child to rest. And so any lives we can impact or save, that's a win for Andrew's legacy and for us.
Thank you very much. Paula?
I just want to thank you, Charlie, again for doing this platform, because it's so important. Because as you stated when you first came on early, over an hour ago now, it's not being talked about, and it's not being talked about. It's just, legislators know what's going on, and we are trying to partner with them as Marla has done in Ohio with her Ohio Supreme Court. They saw that there is an issue. They didn't tell Marla, well, we don't want to talk about this, Marla. They said, no, how can we partner with you? And that's what we're looking to do here in Massachusetts. The same thing, to partner with people within the community, to partner with, law enforcement and our legislators, which we have in some instances, to say that, don't wait till it's your child. And don't say it cannot be your child, because every day Marla and I get text messages from parents that we are affiliated with of who has passed away in a different state. And they're starting to get younger, as young as 2 years old now. So the red flags are out. We're yelling and screaming, and we're doing it in a manner where, like with Marla said, partnering with me, we're going to do it collectively, but we're going to do it in a way where, for folks who may not want to get on this right now, that's fine, because we have others who do. I mean, Marla told you her story. She's got the Supreme Court of Ohio who's backing her. So, that's something that, again, with us parents, as we're doing the advocacy, is teaming up with people like Marla and others who we are getting the word out. The word needs to go out, partnering with you, Charlie, because it's the only way that we're going to save lives.
Exactly. This has been great, and definitely gives me something to look forward to on Sundays, to share this experience with everyone. I I can't wait till next week. So you have anything that maybe you can't make it on Sunday, send me something. I'll definitely make sure I bring those facts to the table. And like I said, I think we're over 20,000 people already that just seen this, and so we're doing good. That's a plus.
And every week, as I mentioned to you, Charlie and Marla, you know this, I'll be inviting other parents who, some are advocating, some are not. And that's okay, because everybody is going to tell their story, and everyone's story is different. One of the people I've invited, Charlie, and I was going to send this message to you, is a sheriff from El Paso, Texas.
Very nice.
He is a canine sheriff. and he lost his son just this past February to fentanyl poisoning, and it was in his marijuana.
Wow.
So kind of like Marla being a paramedic and firefighter, these are the people that we now become connected with. And everyone needs to hear that, it's like Marla said, and Charlie, you've talked about, there's a stigma attached to this that we are trying to change, because it's not the person that's doing drugs that is dying. It's the person that's never done it that is getting something for the first time. And Marla can speak on this, being a paramedic, that is now gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's man. Well, we're doing what we can right now, us, So let's do this. Let's keep on doing this. Um, I want to say thank you to Phil. He's off the stage. And Marla, thank you. Big hugs. His electronic hug to you and Paula. I
Right back to
appreciate you.
you.
And we'll do this again Sunday. Feel free to, this is now your podcast. We're gonna do this. It's not just a Really Charlie podcast. Vicky, I see you down there in the audience. Big Philly. I want to go through the audience real quick here. It's got Paula, Doug, Kara. I see all of you. LMJ, Eva, Amy. Thank you very much. This is real important that I acknowledge you all. And one last comment here. Hugs to you all. Vicky says hugs to you all. Hug to you, Vicky. Um, all right. So thank you, you two, and let's do this again.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm gonna end the podcast with one of my favorite songs by Peter Lionel Walker, which is my intro to the Really Charlie podcast. And I appreciate you all, and feel free to reach out to me throughout the week if you need me, Marla, Paula, Vicky, anyone, at the Really Charlie podcast. The email is reallycharliepodcast@gmail.com. And I am also on Facebook. I joined Marla's group, and Paula's, and, social media I'm on every day. So, every day I'm available to you all. All right, let's see. All right. As I'm playing the intro, at the end of the intro, I will actually leave the stage and leave the studio. So I want to say my last goodbyes to you guys for today, and then I'll see you throughout the week. All right. Let's see. Here we go. All right. God bless everyone. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Whoops. Play the right song. That would be good, right?
It's the Really Charlie Podcast.
God bless you all.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into